Okay, so it's time to get your site installed. So the first thing we're going to do is log into your cPanel account. Now you want to have a domain purchased, have a domain ready that you're going to put the site on, have your hosting provider, having your account, your server. Okay, so we're going to log into our cPanel. And what we're going to do is, and if you're not putting this on your main domain, okay, the main domain is the domain that you selected when you created your hosting provider. If you're not putting on that on a domain, you're putting it on a add-on domain or even a subdomain, you want to make sure and have those done or added to your cPanel by going to add-on or subdomains. Okay, so basically you want to have that ready. So what we're going to do is go ahead and click on File Manager. Okay, and so what we're going to do now is go to or choose the site or the domain that you're putting the site on. All right, and then click Go. So we're going to pretend like this is the domain that we're putting the site on. Okay, so you're going to go inside the folder, and the folder should be empty because you don't have anything on it. Now we need to upload the store files. Okay, so what we're going to do is click on Upload, and it will open up a new tab. Now, here's something that's very important. You need to, where it says maximum file size, okay, you should have plenty of maximum file size available to upload the site. If for some reason it's less than what the site is, which is 248 megabytes, I think, then you just need to call your hosting provider and let them know that you need that up to enough where you can upload the site. Okay? So what we're going to do now is click Browse and browse to the location where you downloaded the files. Now we're going to upload the zip file that says Fit Takeover Store. Okay, so we're going to click once on that to highlight it and then click Open, or you can double click on it. And then we're going to click Open. And we're going to wait for this to start uploading. Now once it starts uploading, we're going to let this complete. Okay, now keep in mind this may take a little bit. Alright, so we're going to let this go ahead and upload. Now while we're letting this upload, we're going to go in our browser and go and click on the main, where we are at our main cPanel. Make sure not to close this out. Okay, just kind of switch back over to this tab in your browser where you have your main cPanel. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and create a database. So we're going to scroll down to MySQL Database Wizard. So we need to name the database or create a database. So you can call it whatever you like. You can name it 5 letters, I think, or 5 characters. So name it whatever you like. It's good to always name it something that you know that it goes to a certain site. So we're going to click Next Step. Now we need to create the user. You can name this the same thing if you like. Now we're going to choose a password. We're going to click Password Generator and choose a password. Now you want to make sure and have a notepad file open so that you can copy this information to a notepad file so you have it for later use. Okay, so click Password Generator, choose a password. Now make sure you take that password and put it on the notepad file. Now we're going to click Create User. Now we're going to copy this information, which is our database, the database name and the database user. Now in this example I use the same name for both, so I'm just going to copy this one time to my notepad file. Okay, after I do that I'm going to click All Privileges and click Next Step. Now we can go back and click Home, go back to the Home cPanel. Now we're going to switch back over in our browser to the tab where we're uploading the files. Now we're going to let these upload, and when they get done I'll come back and we'll complete the installation. Now while this is uploading, we're going to go ahead and do one more thing real quick. Go back to our home cPanel, and what we're going to do now is scroll down and we need to go to PHP My Admin. Okay, so click that and it will open up in a new tab. On the left hand side you're going to see your main domain name. You're going to click the little plus sign so it drops down. Now we're going to find the database that we just created. So we're going to click the database here that we just created. You'll notice that it's empty, and now we're going to click on Import. Now at this time we're going to click Browse to the location on your computer where you downloaded the files. Okay, and now we're going to upload the .sql file, which is the database file. So we're going to select that and then click Open. Once we've done that, we're going to scroll down or go down and click on Go. We're going to let this go ahead and import. Okay, so once the import has successfully finished, we're going to click on, let me move this up just a hair. We're going to click on the structure. Now we're going to just make a couple of edits. So what we're going to do is click on WP Options Table, the database table of WP Options. So just click on that one time, and then it's going to bring up some information here. Now, this first option right here, okay, that has option name and option value. We're going to edit this. So we're going to click once on Edit. Okay, now this URL, we need to change this URL to what your URL is or what your domain is. Okay, so change this to your domain where you're installing the site. Okay, so it's, you would come in here and put your, whatever it is, fitness store name. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, so put that in there. So once you have the correct URL, your URL where you're putting the site on your domain, once you have that URL here, click on Go. Okay, so once you have that one edited, what we're going to do now, we're going to go to the second option table and pretty much do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to click on Edit, and we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to change that to what our site is. Okay, so once you have that in, go ahead and click Go. So now when you look at these two options, they should have your domain URL. Next, we're going to scroll down and we're going to click this little arrow to go to the next page. Actually, those will be the only two you have to change. Usually home is on the second page, but in this case they're here. Okay, so once you have those two things changed, for right now you can close out of this. So just close this browser tab. Next, we're going to switch over to where we were uploading the files, and you can see that they are complete. So we're going to click this little link to go back to our file manager. Okay, so now we see the zip folder that contains the site. Okay, we have that here in our folder. We're going to highlight this and then click Extract, and then we're going to click Extract Files. Now this may take a couple, maybe a minute or two, or a few seconds, whatever it is. Just let it finish, and when it's complete, we'll come right back. Okay, so when it's done extracting, you're going to click Close, and now you're going to click on Reload. Now, what you'll see is an open folder. Okay, here's your zip folder, and here's the open folder. What we're going to do is double click this. Okay, now you're going to see all of the WordPress files of the site files. Okay, but now we need to make an adjustment. So what we're going to do is where it says Select All, okay, we're going to click Select All. Okay, now we're going to come down in this area, and then we're going to right click, and we're going to choose Move. We need to move these files back one folder. Okay, so this is going to be your site where the public HTML is, or whatever your domain is. We need to move these files back one directory. So basically, I'm just going to delete this out. Okay, we're moving it back one directory into the actual domain folder. Okay. Now, if you're putting this on your main domain for your cPanel, you're going to be moving it back into the public HTML, so you wouldn't have anything here. Or if you're putting this on an add-on domain or subdomain, this is going to be the folder for that add-on domain or subdomain. Okay, we're just moving it back one folder. Now we're ready, we're going to click Move Files. Okay, once those are moved, they will disappear. Now we're going to click Go Up one level. And now you're going to see all the files are in the correct folder for the domain that we're putting the site on. So the next thing we need to do is go down to where you see wp-config.php. You're going to left click that once to highlight it, and then right click, and then click Edit. Then click Edit again. Now it's time for us to bring in the database that we created. So on your notepad where you copied your database name and database password, we're going to copy this information in. Okay? So I've taken the database that I copied to my notepad file that we created earlier, and I'm going to paste it here where it says database name, DB name, and I'm going to select this. I'm just going to delete that out, and I'm going to paste. Okay, now make sure when you paste these the database and the database name in that there's no spaces before or after. Okay, make sure you do that. Now where it says database username, now since I use the same the name for the database and the user, I can just do the same thing here. So I'm going to highlight this and just paste over the top of it. Okay, making sure there's no spaces before or after. Now I need to grab the password that we created for this database. Okay, so I've copied the password that I created, and where it says database password, I'm going to just highlight this. Okay, make sure you're not taking out these little comma marks, okay, comment marks, and we're going to paste over it. Okay. All right, once you've done that, we're going to click on up in the very right hand corner. You're going to see the button that says save, so make sure and click on save. Now we can close this out in your browser. This browser tab you can close out. Now it's time to go in our browser and navigate to our domain, and we need to check the site and see if there's anything else that we need to do. Okay, so open up a new browser tab in your browser, and we're going to go to our site. When you navigate to your site, you'll see a screen that looks like this, and that means your site is installed. We've done what we needed to do correctly, and our site is installed. Okay, so now it's time to log in to our site, and we can start working on setting it up for ourselves. Now before we do that, let's go ahead and do a couple of things. In our browser, in our file manager, we have everything we need. So what we can do is highlight this zip file you see here, and we can delete that because we're done with it. Okay, so we're going to click delete. Now this folder, okay, which was the same one that we just deleted, except it's the extracted folder, we're done with that also. We really don't need it. Now you can leave it here as a backup, okay, if you like. Otherwise, if something happened, you would have to upload the files again. But so you can leave it or delete it. It's up to you. Now you can close this out. Now here on our domain, we're going to go into our browser, and we're just going to navigate to the WP admin. Okay, and it's the basic WP admin login URL. Okay, once you go to that URL, once you go to that link, you're going to be ready to log into your site. Okay, so we're done installing the site. Now I know that was quite a bit of information to digest and go through, but I highly recommend that if you got confused, to go through the video a few times. It is very, very important that you learn how to do these things. It's just going to help you later on. Okay, so if you have some questions or something went wrong, just go back over it, take your time, and go through the video again and the process again. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go to the next video, and we're going to start setting up your site.